sharing their bad trip experience. Through the talk, did you notice what tense they used to describe events in the past? It's a simple past. But it's not the only structure used throughout the video. There were also other structures to talk about travel and holidays. I hope that you recognized many familiar structures and found some new ones. Let's start the lesson and find out what they are. Please have a look at them. They are passive forms, gerunds as subjects and objects, and past tenses. By the end of this lesson, we can find the answers to these questions. What can passive forms be used to talk about? What is a gerund and how to use it? What is the difference between simple past and past continuous? How to use used to. First, please take a look at these two sentences. What are they called? They are called passive sentences. Can you tell me which one is present simple passive and which one is past simple passive? So, A is past simple passive because the sentence describes an event happening in the past. The signal word is was, and B is a present simple passive. The sentence tells us about an event that happens today. So, why should we use the passive? Well, we use the passive when we don't know the person who did the action or when it isn't important to know. Take a look at the two examples again. The flight and the restaurant are the focus here. When reading or listening to these sentences, listeners or readers can understand who completed the action. The airline delayed the flight. The restaurant owner closed it. But it's not important to focus on. So, we use the passive to emphasize on the key information. That's about the two main uses of the passive voice. Let's review a bit about how to form a passive sentence. Here we have an active sentence. Step 1. Let's analyze the structure of the active sentence. And they is the subject of the sentence. Next, we have the main verb, which is delayed. Then, it's the object, my flight, and the time expression for 3 hours. Step 2, we need to delete the subject of the sentence, they. And then, step 3, we move the object, my flight, to the front. The event happened in the past, so the verb be becomes was, because my flight is singular. Step 4, we need to change the verb delayed into past participle, and it's also delayed. And finally, the time expression stays in the same place. Here, it's not important to know who delayed the flight, so we don't need to write by them at the end. So the sentence will become, my flight was delayed for 3 hours. Now, let's have some practice. Please change these sentences into the passive. Then, tell me which sentence is a present simple passive and which one is a past simple passive. You may pause the video for a while and complete the task. Your time starts now. Alright, let's check the answers. Did you have the same answers? Number 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7 are past simple passive. So we need to change the verbs be into was or were. The subject in number 2, 5, 7 was singular, so we used was. In number 1 and 6, the subjects are postcards and new passports, so we use were. Number 3, 4, and 8, the tense is simple present. The verbs be become is or are. The hotel in number 3 and the passport in number 4 is singular, so we used is. Pets are plural, so the verb becomes are. Next, we'll watch a part of a conversation between a travel agent and a customer.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, I'd like to book a holiday in Singapore.
Certainly. When would you like to travel?
I'm not very sure, but I want to travel for less than 10 days.
All right. And for how many people?
Just me. I enjoy travelling alone.
I see. We're currently having a package tour suitable for solo travel. It's called Green Escapes. During the journey, you have a chance to stay close to nature and enjoy outdoor adventures through camping activities.
Well, going camping is my favourite though, but I also want to do something new. Can you tell me more about the tour?
Well, you will.
During the conversation, as talking about his preferences, the customer used these two sentences, and it may seem a bit strange. Now, let's take a look. These sentences give us information about facts. Why I travel and go camping in the ing form. What are they called? In English, verbs that are in the ing form are called gerunds. In these examples, traveling and going camping are gerunds. A gerund can have two jobs. It can be either the subject or an object of a sentence. Now, look at the two examples. Can you guess which gerund is the subject and which one is the object? It's easy to guess, isn't it? Going camping is a subject because it stands at the beginning of the sentence. When a gerund plays the role of the subject, it always singular. Therefore, we should use a third-person singular verb after it. In this example, the verb is isn't, but not aren't. Let's take a look at some more examples of a gerund as a subject. Can you identify the subject of each sentence? Let's check. The subjects of each sentence are swimming, traveling by boat, and having troubles while traveling, respectively. And in this example, the object of the sentence is a gerund traveling. As an object, a gerund always follows the main verb. However, not all verbs are followed by gerunds. Now, please take a look at this table to learn some common verbs followed by gerunds. You may pause the video to take note. It's exercise time. Please read and rewrite these sentences, starting with a gerund. There is one example for you. I'll give you some minutes. Let's check the answers. Did you get all the correct answers? These gerunds functions as the subjects of the sentences. So, the verbs that follow the gerunds are singular. In this unit, we've learned how to share travel experience in the past. That's why in the next grammar point, we'll review past tenses together. Alright, first, let's take a look at the two sentences taken from the conversation in Lesson 1. Can you match the sentence to the usage? Now, let's check. In number 1, the sentence gives us information about events that happened and ended in the past. In number 2, the sentence gives us information about an ongoing event that happened and continued for some time in the past. Do you still remember what tense is for each sentence? It's simple past for number 1 and past continuous for number 2. Now, let's take a look at this table and quickly review the form and uses of each tense. Pause the video and take notes. Alright, it's quiz time. Please read and fill in the gaps using the given words. You may need to change the form of the verb. Please take a few minutes to complete the task. Alright, let's check the answers. In number 1, 5, 7, and 8, the tense is simple past. So we need to change the form of the verb into the past forms. In number 2, 3, 4, and 6, the tenses are simple past and past continuous. And all of the missing verbs are in the continuous clauses. That's why the verbs should be the past continuous form. Here comes the last grammar point. Can you tell me what kind of tense is used in this underlined sentence? Is it the simple past or the past continuous? And what does used to mean? Have you got your answer? The tense used for this sentence is a simple past, and used to is a phrase. It refers to things in the past, which are no longer true now. In the past, the speaker went on a lot of business trips, but now the speaker doesn't travel abroad anymore. Used to can be used to talk about people's habits in the past, but now people have changed those habits and they aren't true anymore. For example, when we were little, my sister and I used to play house a lot. I would be the wife and my sister would be the husband. So you see, this was a habit in the past when the speaker was little. Now the speaker is probably a grown-up and they no longer play house. And by play house, I refer to an activity where children pretend to be an adult and do household chores like cooking, cleaning, and working. So, how used to is used in a sentence. If it is a statement, we put used to after the subject and before another verb. For example, I used to go on a lot of business trips, or my sister and I used to play house. If it is a negative sentence, we use didn't used to. And in questions, the auxiliary verb did will be put before the subject and used to will be written without the final D. Alright, so used to refers to an event happening in the past but no longer true now. Meanwhile, no longer and anymore refers to something that is happening and true at the moment. Therefore, we can rewrite sentences with no longer or anymore using used to. Take a look at the example. Now, I no longer want to visit New York, but in the past, I used to want to travel there. It's your turn. Can you help me rewrite these sentences using used to? Take a few minutes and I'll be back. Here are the answers. When we rewrite the sentence, remember to omit no longer and anymore in the sentences. After used to, we should use bare infinitives. Did you have all 8 correct answers? Alright, let's wrap up our lesson with a multiple choice exercise. Let's read each sentence and choose the correct answer. Take some time to complete the task. I'll be back.